Nice Motorsports releases playoff contender Kaden Honeycutt just days before the Truck Series playoffs begin, and a front row crew member confronts Carson Hocevar after an on-track Iowa altercation. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Hope you're doing well. Happy Monday. If you missed my Sunday night Iowa post-race reaction breakdown analysis, you can click right up here or click the link down in the video description below. We had a lot to talk about, and we have a lot to discuss today. A ton of news to begin this week. We'll start over in the Craftsman Truck Series. Nice Motorsports announced this morning they are releasing driver Kaden Honeycutt effective immediately. They say Connor Zilic will pilot the number 45 at Watkins Glen. Bailey Curry will drive the remainder of the season. Honeycutt has signed a contract to race with a different Truck Series organization and OEM in 2026. Making this change allows our team the opportunity to begin building for next year. Kaden Honeycutt is 9th on the Truck Series playoff grid with 2 regular season races to go. He has a huge points cushion back to 11th. It would take 2 new surprise winners the next 2 races to potentially knock Honeycutt out. He is in a great spot. Nice Motorsports is dropping their playoff contending driver just weeks before the playoffs begin. Honeycutt released a statement of his own. He says, "I would like to thank Nice Motorsports, specifically Al Nice, Cody Efaw, Phil Gold, etc. My plan is to continue to contend for race wins and position myself to make the playoffs this season. I look forward to sharing my plans for the remainder of 2025 and beyond in the near future." So Nice Motorsports says Honeycutt is switching teams, switching manufacturers this offseason, leaving Chevrolet. Honeycutt says he plans to contend the rest of this season, chase a Truck Series championship with a different team. The rumors I've heard point to Toyota, and actually I saw Bob Pockrass Fox Sports mention that Toyota, specifically Tricon Garage, could be a landing spot for Honeycutt next season. In fact, the Tricon Garage Twitter account just responded, "Who, me?" There's a lot to break down here. There is a world where this is actually the best decision for both Nice and Kaden Honeycutt. Like, this could be a win-win. I mean, Nice just said Connor Zilic will drive their truck at Watkins Glen this week. Yeah, that's a top 5, maybe a win waiting to happen. That will help Nice Motorsports position themselves better heading into the Truck Series Owners playoffs. And Bailey Curry, who they say is going to drive the truck, solid driver, good dude. I believe in his ability. So this could work out okay for Nice the rest of this year, and it could work out for Kaden Honeycutt. If the rumors are true that he's heading to Toyota next season, there's a Toyota truck that is playoff eligible that might need a driver the remainder of this season. I'm talking about the Halmar Friesen number 52. Christopher Bell is driving that truck at Watkins Glen this weekend. Actually, Jessica Friesen, Stewart's wife, posted an update on Stewart's condition over the weekend. Remember, Stuart Friesen last week involved in a horrific dirt-modified crash, fractured pelvis, fractured leg, serious injuries. This was the update this weekend from his wife. She says, quote, "Stewart had a successful multi-hour surgery last night to address both his pelvis and compound leg fracture, which went very well. After the surgery, he got some great rest overnight, and we feel like we are moving forward. We are scheduled to meet with a physical therapist soon and continue to make a plan for Stewart's road to recovery." That is positive news to hear that the surgery went well, that Stewart is beginning to progress in a positive direction. But his status for the remainder of the NASCAR Truck Series season is very uncertain. Let's say questionable at best. Hopefully Stuart Friesen is able to make a full recovery and one day is able to get back behind the wheel of a race car if that's what he wants to do. We know he's a racer through and through. That's what he loves. But his status for the remainder of this season is certainly questionable. Christopher Bell can't drive that truck during the playoffs. That's against the rules. Cup guys can't race in truck and Xfinity playoff events. So Bell, probably a one and done. They will need a Truck Series regular in that truck the rest of this season. That could be Kaden Honeycutt. Again, if the rumors of Honeycutt to Toyota already being signed for next year, if those rumors are true. Honeycutt to the Friesen 52 isn't a bad move. I would put the Halmar Friesen 52 kind of in the same tier as the Nice Motorsports 45 truck. They're not quite to the Tricon 11 or the front row truck levels. They're honestly comparable to Thor Sport this year, who's having kind of a down year. Those are contending trucks. Kaden Honeycutt in the Friesen 52 could make a deep playoff run. So that's why I say there's a lot of ifs and rumors and speculation here, but there is a world where this news today is actually a win-win in the short term for both Honeycutt and Nice Motorsports. But it's a weird headline. It's certainly jarring to hear that a team is cutting their playoff driver just days before the playoffs begin. At first glance, that looks ridiculous. It just goes to show you how paper thin contracts are, especially in the lower series. A lot of these drivers, a lot of crew guys are on 1 year, year-to-year deals, sometimes week-to-week contracts, and things can change in a moment's notice. Job security? What job security? There's not much job security in the lower series. Things change quickly. I hope things work out for Kaden Honeycutt. There's rumors he could drive the Young's Motorsports truck this weekend. I'm not sure how true that is, just a rumor I've seen out there. Going forward, again, depending on Stuart Friesen's status, I could see Honeycutt to the 52 being a great match here for the remainder of the 2025 season. That's what makes the most sense to me, but time will tell if that's ultimately what comes to fruition. I mentioned Christopher Bell pulling double duty, running the truck race for Friesen, also running the cup race, of course. Connor Zilic now, as a result of this Nice announcement, is pulling triple duty. Zilic will be in the truck, Xfinity, and cup races at Watkins Glen this weekend. Chris Buescher is pulling double duty. He will drive the ThorSport number 66 truck, and of course will compete in the Cup Series race on Sunday. Chris Buescher enters this weekend 16th, holding on to the final Cup Series playoff spot. He has a 23-point advantage over his teammate Ryan Preece. He also enters this weekend as the defending Watkins Glen Cup Series winner. A huge opportunity for Buescher this weekend to win his way in, to extend his points cushion, and now he'll pull double duty. Extra track time, extra seat time, extra experience. I think that's a good plan. Michael McDowell must feel similarly because he too will pull double duty this weekend. Michael McDowell, another Cup Series playoff bubble driver, great road course racer, won at Indy a couple years ago. He will run the Cup race, obviously, and the Xfinity race, subbing for Josh Williams, who's now out of that Kaulig Racing number 11. Chris Buescher and Michael McDowell, two great road course racers who need big days this coming Sunday, getting some extra seat time. I think that's good. Though, focusing on McDowell for a moment, he's driving for Kaulig Racing in Xfinity. I'm a little surprised it's not AJ Allmendinger in that seat, because AJ Allmendinger is in a very similar point situation to Michael McDowell. They are both vying for a final Cup Series playoff spot. They are both great road racers who likely view Watkins Glen as their last real shot to win their way in. Why is McDowell in the Kaulig car instead of their driver AJ Allmendinger? Maybe there's some truth to the Spire purchasing some Kaulig Racing assets rumors. That could be a part of this. Chris Rice, Kaulig team president, recently said on SiriusXM radio that Allmendinger is going to be focused on Cup the rest of this year. Again, I don't know if that's a business decision or if that's strictly a, hey, we think our guy's most locked in when he's focused on one race, one series per weekend. I don't know if I subscribe to that same theory. Every driver, every team, of course, is a little bit different, but when it comes to a road course in particular, I would value all the experience you can get. I know the truck, Xfinity, and Cup cars all handle a bit differently. They drive differently. The braking points are a little different, but seat time is seat time. Don't get a lot of practice. Don't get a lot of track time in Cup nowadays. I like Buescher running the truck race. I like McDowell running the Xfinity race. Allmendinger's going to focus fully on Cup. Maybe that's best for him, but generally speaking, I would prefer my drivers to get extra seat time, especially ahead of a technical road course type track like Watkins Glen International. Something to watch this weekend. Buescher not only trying to win his way into the playoffs, but he has to think about points as well. He's 23 points ahead of Ryan Preece for that final playoff spot. That could be a disadvantage actually, because he's probably going to stay out in the stages, collect those stage points, and then at the start of stage 3, he'll be at a track position disadvantage. Very difficult to win from back there. While McDowell, Allmendinger can say screw stage points. Points don't help us much. At this point, we'll take track position. They could be better positioned to win in that final stage. Advantage McDowell, advantage Allmendinger. Chris Buescher going to have a tough task ahead of him this Sunday, but I like that he's getting extra seat time in the truck race on Friday, Saturday. Is truck race Saturday? Is truck and Xfinity on the same day? Is that a doubleheader? No, Friday. It is Friday. 5 p.m. Eastern, I think, on FS1. Friday evening. All right. Leave a comment down below. Who do you think has the best shot at winning the Cup race this weekend? Buescher, McDowell, or I'll throw in AJ Allmendinger. He has won at Watkins Glen before. I think I'd take McDowell, honestly. I know Buescher won this race last year. I think RFK Racing a little more consistent than Spire, than Kaulig equipment, but again, Buescher's going to have to race for points a little bit. That's going to be in the back of his mind. I think McDowell, Allmendinger will have a better track position advantage by the end. McDowell led the opening stint at Chicago, was really, really fast before his car fell apart on him. I could see Michael McDowell being in a great spot this Sunday afternoon. I would probably pick McDowell of those three, but they're all probably going to be chasing Shane Van Gisbergen, if we're being completely honest, completely realistic. But let's move on. Talked about one Spire driver, Michael McDowell. Let's talk about another Spire Motorsports kid, Carson Hocevar. Hocevar had an eventful day at Iowa Speedway. He spun mid-pack at the end of stage 2, then got into Zane Smith on a restart, sent the 38 car spinning. Then it appeared Zane Smith tried to retaliate against Hocevar, but missed. Immediately after the race, frontstretch.com's Steven Stumpf made a post. He reported that a crew member from Zane Smith's number 38 team confronted Carson Hocevar and had some very choice words. Hocevar, who finished 8th in the race yesterday, appeared unbothered by all the latest drama. He made a post on Instagram with, I think, a telling song choice, and this second image, Take a Number. I think his message there is pretty clear. You know, a lot of athletes, a lot of famous people can say that they don't listen to the critics. They don't read the comments. They don't let the naysayers, the haters, get under their skin. But in most cases, I think that's at least partially untrue. I think everyone is human. Some people may be better at compartmentalizing or blocking out the distractions, the noise than others, but I think everyone lets the critics get to them at least a little bit. I do, however, think Carson Hocevar is being pretty genuine here. I don't think the critics faze Carson Hocevar all that much compared to maybe others. He's in his own little world. When he's in the cockpit of his 77 car, he's in a bubble. He's going to go out there, get in his zone, and do what he does. I don't think he's thinking a whole lot about what other drivers around him may be thinking of him, how they may react. I think he's just doing his thing. And if you don't like it, as he says, take a number, get in line. As far as the crew member confrontation, I get the 38 team being very frustrated. They've been wrecked out of a few races in a row now. Christopher Bell last week at Indy, Hocevar here at Iowa. Their frustration is entirely justified, though. You know, Hocevar, the on-track incident, it was obviously an accident. He slipped, got loose, got into the 38, the same way Denny Hamlin slipped and got loose, the same way Chase Briscoe slipped, got loose, the same way Kyle Busch slipped, got loose, and wrecked his stuff in practice. Everyone was getting sideways, sliding up the track yesterday at Iowa Speedway. A dozen cautions. Sure, Hocevar made a mistake, but it's one many others made throughout the course of the race. I get that he doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't. He's made a lot of aggressive mistakes, let's say, over the course of his career. So again, I completely get the 38 team being frustrated with Hocevar, with how their season has unfortunately devolved the past few weeks. I don't love a crew member, and I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. I don't know if that's an engineer. I don't even know. That might be the crew chief. I mean, it does kind of look like Ryan Bergenti from the side profile there. I don't know. I don't love a crew guy, even if it's the crew chief being the one to confront a rival driver. Like, I feel like that's Zane Smith's job. It's Zane Smith's job as your driver to handle altercations with other drivers, whether that's on track, whether that's off. I think it's Zane's job to deliver whatever message he wants to deliver. He's representing the team in that instance. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. Either way, Carson Hocevar continuing to make more enemies than friends on the racetrack. Eventually, this is going to come back to bite him. I mean, I think it has in some ways that we don't always see on track. I think there are a lot of drivers out there now that do not cut Hocevar much slack, don't give an inch, make passing even more difficult, little games on pit road perhaps. I'm sure there are things we don't see that are being impacted by Hocevar's reputation, but I mean, Carson finished 8th. It feels like every time he gets into it with someone, Hocevar is the one walking away with a top 5, a top 10, a good finish, and the other guy's not. Like, it always feels like Carson gets the last laugh. Until he truly is taught a lesson, nothing's going to change. And if Zane had connected on this move right here, I mean, there's a chance he gets parked or held for a couple laps or fined, points penalty later in the week. So you got to be careful about how you manage this stuff. Carson Hocevar is the result of modern NASCAR being what it is. Race cars with nearly indestructible front and rear bumpers, cars that are equal, so hard to pass, closer racing than ever before, a sanctioning body that rarely steps in and makes hard judgment calls in the moment. Carson Hocevar, like him or not, is the result of all of this. And so far, while I don't always love his style, it's worked for him. That's my reaction to Hocevar once again in the middle of it. Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you think Hocevar's style is going to tangibly come back to bite him in a big way later this year or down the line? Or do you think Carson should keep doing what he's doing? Seems to be working okay. Should he continue to risk facing future consequences? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Just my thoughts on some of the big news of the day. I appreciate you tuning in. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR conversation every single day, every single week. I really appreciate your very generous support on Patreon as well. No power rankings today, busy news day, but you can expect them tomorrow. My weekly Cup Series power rankings. Can't wait to share that with y'all. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll catch you in the next episode.